Hey everybody. Come on in, come on in. I'm just up here working on a cake for a friend tonight that I told them I could have ready for them tomorrow. So as you can see, it's a half sheet cake that I'm working on right now. And the color that I am applying of frosting right now is royal blue. So how's everybody been doing this Saturday? I hope everybody is A-okay. I ran across a few things I wanted to discuss tonight. One of them, you see the titles in the live. So if we get through discussing that and have time to discuss the other topic, we sure can jump right into that. But make sure you guys click the like button on your way in. I'm going to try to get done with most of this cake while I am live with you guys tonight. I won't be able to finish all of the cake because some of the decorations that are going to go on the cake can't go on the cake till right before it gets picked up. So for now, I'm just going to kind of decorate it with the frosting. There are going to be some other things on the cake, some other objects, because it is a graduation cake. So I have some things that I'm going to put on the cake, like graduation hat, scroll, diploma. Of course, not a real one, but a diploma. So right now, I'm just going to do my, I'm just doing my crumb coat. Hey, Roxanne, how you doing, sweets? How has your Saturday been? I'm just up here working on the crumb coat of this cake. And for those who don't know what a crumb coat is, basically it's just a real light layer of frosting that you first apply to a cake. A lot of people don't do this, especially if you're just making cakes at home. They just put the frosting on the cake and voila, there you go, eat it. But if you're planning on piping the cake with some piping designs, then it's best that you put a crumb coat on the cake. And not too much, just a light layer all around. Because after we do the crumb coat, then we stick it in the freezer for about, depending on how big the cake is, this cake is a half sheet. So, want to put it in the freezer. Some people put it in the refrigerator, put it in the freezer. If you have a whole bunch of cakes that you're going through and you're not trying to get to just one single cake done, then you can put it in the refrigerator and just start working on other cakes. But if that's the only cake you're working on and you just want to get through it, then I will put it in the freezer for at least a good 15 minutes. And a crumb coat basically is you apply a layer on the cake, scrape off the excess, because what you're trying to do is just cover the cake so you can cover all the crumbs. Because a lot of times if you probably decorate a cake on your own, without not much practice or whatnot, if you're not a cake decorator or a baker or anything, you'll notice there's crumbs on the cake usually all the time. There's crumbs on the cake. So by applying a thin layer or the crumb coat on the cake, You cover the cake, cover all the crumbs. And then put it, like I said, put it in the freezer. And it don't have to be perfect. The crumb coat does not have to be perfect. All you're doing is just layering the cake with a thin layer icing. So all you're trying to do is just put icing all over the cake. We got that side done. I'm gonna flip it around so you can see. But how you been doing, Roxanne? I had to work earlier. Otherwise, I would have came to you guys live much earlier. I did say that I was going to come to you guys live tonight because I wanted to talk about something while I was decorating this cake for my friend for her daughter's graduation. And when I got off of work, I had to stop by the store first. So that's why I'm a little late. Not too late though. It is Saturday. So hopefully nobody has to get up too early in the morning to go to work or anything. I do have to work tomorrow, but it's not until the afternoon. So I'm cool. I can stay up a little late, decorate a cake, chit chat with you guys, and still be good to go for tomorrow. But yeah, the color of this cake is going to be royal blue and black. That's the colors that my friend wanted for her daughter's cake. So I'm just putting a royal blue base coat down. Again, this is just a crumb coat. So it doesn't have to look any particular way because all we're trying to do is cover the cover the cake so we can seal in all the crumbs on the cake. Because the worst thing you can do is have crumbs all over your cake when you present it to somebody. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm about done. And you don't want to have too much icing. So you see me shaving the icing off because we just want a thin layer. Just a thin layer. Because after this dries, we're going to have to put on a second layer. Going to have to put on a second layer after this dries. And you don't want it to be too heavy. Because if you got too much frosting on the cake and then you want to turn around and pipe some designs on it, the frosting that's underneath the designs most likely will start to droop because you got too much base frosting on there. So, okay, this is good. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just your crumb coat. So your crumb coat, can you guys see pretty well? I don't want to scoot the cake too far back, but I'm trying to get most of it in the camera for you. So, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to put this in the freezer, and then we're going to start talking about what I want to talk about. And by the way, I have two refrigerators, so that's why you don't see me opening the freezer behind me. I have this refrigerator. then I have another one to the side. Okay, now let me find my... Let me just get my cup real quick. Get me some ice. I'm coming, you guys. Oh, and also, just to let y'all know, I do have the phone lines on. So if you wanted to call in and discuss anything, the topic, if you notice, just want to make sure I'm not buffering. I'm not buffering, Anima. I mean, and am I? It's been a long day, y'all. It's been a long day. Again, I hope everybody else had a great day. Hey, NKM, how are you? Happy weekend. I just want to show you guys something real quick. This video that has been trending dealing with this Utah school bus driver who they said allegedly is a racist, and he has done a lot of things in his past that are like racist or suspect of being a racist, and he dragged this little boy with his school bus. Thank God the little boy survived, and he's not somewhere getting prepared for a funeral memorial service. But y'all check this video out, okay? Let me turn the back sound down so you guys can check it out.
A school district in Utah now the subject of a lawsuit because of this. A former bus driver caught on camera dragging a student moments after he stepped off the bus. You see the students lining up and walking down the steps. They say the boy's backpack got caught in the door and the driver didn't stop for several seconds. The boy's mother believes he was targeted because of his race, but the driver denies that allegation.
Would you say that you're racist?
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
Look at my dog. He's as black as can be.
Oh boy. The lawsuit claims the driver has a history of misconduct against children who are minorities dating back several years. The driver says this specific incident was staged after he disciplined the boy's brother.
You guys, I don't know. I don't know about this. That comment that thank you, NKM, I have forgot to turn the audio back on. That comment that he made about his dog, about his lab, because I think it's a lab, because I seen another video, and the dog looked like a lab, and I was like, what does the dog has to do with race? So you got a black dog. How could I be racist? Because look how black my dog is. I was so appalled. I was like gagging. Like, what the hell did this old man say? And then, I mean, if you follow the story or checked out the blogs or anything about this particular guy, they were saying how he's done like some racist things, or people are speculating that he's a racist. Now the little boy that he dragged, I don't know if you could see. It's kind of hard to see. You have to be looking very closely. Yeah, he said his dog was black. Like, I can't be racist. I have a black dog. I thought that was like really, really messed up. Like, either he really is racist and he's trying to be like just trying to be funny, or he's downplaying the whole situation. Either way, I think is not right what he was saying, because this was serious. Like, if you saw the video, it's kind of hard to tell, but the little boy who had the fancy haircut in the back, kind of like a little mohawk, it was him in his backpack. As soon as, and mind you, they were pulling up to school. All the kids had stood up to get off the bus. This little boy, and this happened in Utah, and the reason why I heard about this story was because I have a cousin, I have an auntie who lives in Utah, and all her children live in Utah with her. So one of my cousins had posted it on his Facebook page, and I saw it. I saw the story, and I was like, what the hell? What? And so when I saw the video, like, when you see the little boy step down, you see all the kids following behind him. They're all trying to get off the bus to go to school. This man, as soon as some of the kids got off the bus, the little boy was next, and he waited till he got outside the door, but the book bag didn't go through the door. So the book bag was on the inside of the door, and the little boy was on the outside of the door. And they said his legs, his body was so close to the front tire, like so close to the front tire, till he could have slid under the tires and got physically dragged under the tires. Thank God he didn't. I mean, thank God there's like a step, like his feet was on the ground, but there's like a step when you get on the bus. So part of his feet, one of his feet was on the step, and the other one was dragging against the ground, and he was just hanging there, just out the bus like this. I was like, what the hell? And you can see like the top part of his head. You can see like the top part of his head around the other little girl. Looked like a little white girl was behind him. And they bleeped out the pictures of the kids, of course, because they're minors, of course. He looked terrified. And the kids, they said the kids, in the story that I read, they said the kids, you couldn't see their faces. They were turning around like this. The one right at the door was trying to open the door, and the other ones was like, stop the bus, you're dragging him, stop the bus. And the man wouldn't stop. They said he continued on for like 30 more seconds after they were screaming and telling him somebody stuck in the door. Let me read y'all this story. Let me just read y'all this story. Okay. It says a Utah mother is suing a former bus. Oh yeah, because mind you, he quit. He resigned right after this. And this just happened. Today is the 18th. This just happened on the 13th or the 11th. I think the 11th. So like a week ago. It says a Utah mother is suing a former bus driver who she alleges closed the door on her 14-year-old biracial son's backpack and dragged him approximately 150 feet because of his racial animus towards students of mixed race. Brenda Mays, civil right, that's her the child's mother's name. Brenda May's civil rights lawsuit says her son was getting off the bus in early February when the driver, John Nesbitt, closed the doors, trapping the boy's backpack inside as he dangled outside the door. Nesbitt, 78 years old, then drove approximately 150 to 175 feet before opening the door and letting the boy go, the lawsuit says. Nesbitt, who is no longer employed by the district, per a spokeswoman, had previously displayed racial animus and discriminatory conduct toward other students of mixed race, according to the lawsuit, which cites at least two prior incidents involving other students dating back to September of 2017. Now, when y'all saw the video, the news people went to his the news reporters went to his home in Hooper, Utah, and said, "Are you really a racist?" Because that's people are telling us that you're a racist. You know, that's what they're claiming. That's what's in the lawsuit. And he says, "No, I'm not a racist at all." He's laughing it up, talking about, "Look at my dog. He's as black as he could be. Like, how could I be a racist? Look how black my dog is. Look how black my dog is." And he said he retired several days after the incident. Now, the lawsuit is also naming the Davis School District and its transportation director, Dave Roberts, who Mays said ignored her concerns. So I guess she had, talked to them in the past because there was, certain situations that happened before. The suit requested that disciplinary action be taken against Nesbitt and that criminal charges be filed. And then Davis School District spokesperson Shauna Lunn said Friday, when issues of discrimination are raised at any time, they are investigated thoroughly. The Davis School District takes any claims of racial discrimination seriously and does not tolerate any form of racial discrimination in our schools. And the last part, I'm going to read you this. The incident involved May's sons, as we saw on the video. It was caught on the bus camera. About a dozen students exit the bus before him, before the little boy. About a dozen kids exit the bus before he did. But as soon as he exits the door, the man slams the door on his book bag. And the bus moves forward and continues to do so for like 150 feet. I'm like, thank God he wasn't speeding. He wasn't speeding. He was doing about 7 to 10 miles per hour. But still, the little boy was really close to the tires. You know how big those tires are on the school bus? The door is right, like almost right by the tire. And then when the bus came to a stop, the door opened and freeing the boy. And somebody said had his straps of the backpack broken. Thank God he didn't have no really cheap or really old hand-me-down backpack that has some kind of issues and wasn't all the way put together, because had it had broken, he would have dropped to the ground and could have been run over and killed by the bus, or sustained some serious injuries from the concrete. But this guy, the man, he swears he didn't know he was in the bus. He said he didn't know he was in the tours, but the kids on the bus said they were screaming and yelling at him and telling him that somebody was stuck in the door and they were dragging. They were being dragged by the bus, and the driver, they said he kept driving. He kept driving. I'm just appalled. And they said there were 2 other instances of what they would call like discriminatory conduct against mixed race students. I don't know why it's just against mixed race students. Maybe there weren't any all black students on the bus, but there were like several mixed race students on the bus. But in September 2017, they said Nesbitt took no action when a Caucasian 6th grade boy physically assaulted a 3rd grade biracial girl on the bus. May's son, the little boy who was trapped in the door, he had to stop the assault because the bus driver just ignored them fighting. So that was one incident that they said. And then also they said when the student's father confronted Nesbitt the next morning, the bus driver denied even knowing the boy. He was like, I don't know your kid. I don't know him. Who your son? Who you? He rides my bus? I don't know who you talking about. He said he don't know what he talking about. And so they said again, after the father again reported the incident to the school's principal and Roberts, they said Nesbitt turned up in the bus at the father's place of employment and parked outside of the boy's father's job, which the lawsuit claims is a clear attempt to retaliate against the student by intimidating or harassing the father. Like, is this old man in his right mind? You drive a school bus to their job? Are you... Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. I cannot. He denies knowing that the little boy was trapped in the door, even though the students were yelling and screaming at him to tell him to stop the bus. You're dragging somebody in the door. They're stuck in the door. Then he denies knowing the child at all, and him and his brother both ride the bus. And then he shows up at the father's job in the school bus. In the school bus. Y'all, I can't. Not in his whole car. He didn't walk. He didn't catch the cab. He didn't drive his own vehicle. He drove the school bus to the child's father's job. Anywho, they're asking for unspecified damages from the school district. This is too much, y'all. This is too much. I just can't. I can't believe this. Let me read the comments. Because I know I was reading for a minute. Roxanne said that's effed up. You right. He knew what he was doing. And then I read somewhere I read in the blog, somebody was like, why every time something happens between a white person and a black person, it has to be racist? And people were like, you can't put all incidences together like that. You can't gap them all together like that, of course. But in this particular situation, there were incidents prior to this that were reported and they weren't taken care of. And then the little biracial girl who had got beat up by a white boy. Can you picture a little girl, any color, black, purple, blue, yellow, green, getting attacked by a little boy? Well, these kids are like 14, junior high age. And the driver just watches. Now, I don't know if he would have just watched if it was, if it wasn't a black or biracial child. If it was two white kids and the white boy was beating up the girl. I don't know. They allegedly claim he's a racist. That one remark that he said about his dog makes him look suspect. What do y'all think? That one comment is suspect. They said, are you really a racist? No. Look at my dog. My dog is as black as he can be. The sarcasm of it all. Like I said, he's either... Okay, let me Let me tell y'all. Somebody said in a blog, they said, after they said about the stupid racist comment, they said, this guy isn't a racist. There's no way. This is not a racist situation at all. He's just old. He's just old and he needs to retire. I was like, some people are so delusional. I swear some people are so delusional, or they don't want to face the fact that racism is still alive and still going on right where we live, right in our country. Racism is still real. It is real. And or either people are either racist themselves when they make those stupid comments. Yeah, blame it on age. Now, granted, the man is old. He's 78. But we have old people driving all the time. They might drive a little slow. We might have to drive around them or honk to tell them to speed up or get out the way, pull over so I can go around you. But using age, I think age may have a factor in him being racist, they're alleging. If it's true that he is a racist, I mean, he's almost 80. So he definitely was raised around the time when racism strongly prevailed. You know, it's what, 2019? His butt was born in like what, 1940? You said he was well enough for them to trust him with the kids. Exactly. He was well enough to trust him with the kids. He was well enough to pass those. I mean, those CDL tests, they're not easy. They're not easy. I used to work years and years ago. I used to work for the school district here and drove the school, not the buses, but the let's see, 369. It was like 9-passenger van. And then of course it had a seat up front next to the driver's seat. So I guess you can say like a 10-passenger van, something like that. They tried to get me to get my CDL license. I'm like, please, I'm not driving on big old buses. For one, I'm scared to drive something that big. But then when I saw how hard it was for other people to try to pass those tests, I mean, I don't know how they are now, but back years ago when I took the test, a lot of people had a difficult time trying to pass the test. It might be a little bit easier now. I don't know. I know they make good money because one of my on our hip hop line dance team, one of the instructors, she's like over, I think she's like the manager or hiring manager or something like that of the school bus department here. So she does hiring, she does firing. So they pay pretty good because she's always talking about, you know, when they need help, when they need drivers or drivers, what do they call them? Drivers, not assistants, driver's aid, something like that. They start off around like $20 an hour to drive those buses. So, you know, they get paid pretty good. So for people who like him, he's 78 years old. I don't know if that's the only job he's ever had. I don't know if he was already retired and picked that job up as a part-time job, because you know driving a school bus is not a full-time job. I don't know if y'all know that, but if you think about it, the kids only need a ride in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. So it's not a full-time job. And most people just drive them to school in the morning and then go back in the afternoon to pick them up and drive them home. So you kind of maybe getting at the most maybe 5 hours a day. You're lucky if you get 6 hours a day. So it's not a full-time job. And that's another reason why they do pay pretty good, because for one, you're dealing with those kids. Some of the kids be, oh my God. Some of the kids can, woo. They can make you not want to have kids of your own, because some people kids, they have no, they act like they don't have any home training. I'm not going to say they don't have home training, but you know how kids are. We all know how kids can be. They might have that home training, but when they leave home, They act like they ain't got no gone sense that God gave an ant. Or be trying to show off in front of their friends, trying to get some clout, trying to act like they big and bad and, roughnecks and all that kind of stuff when they at school. But in this situation, I'm gonna side with he's probably older, was already retired, because they said he retired days after this incident. Like, I guess he couldn't intimidate the parents. Like, who does that? Who takes the school bus? Okay, I work part-time at a nursing home. I wish somebody would drive their school bus up to my job in front of the nursing home to intimidate me because I didn't accuse them of mistreating my son. I'm going to run right outside of that nursing home and ride on that bus and dare them drag me. Drag me. You do not intimidate me, you old man. That is too much. I can't believe it. I cannot believe he did that. And I'm like, how did he find out where the pops work anyway? I wonder how he found out where he worked. Maybe he got it from the kid. Because, kids be talking. They be running their mouth sometimes too much. Be up there. My daddy works here. My mama works here. Talking to their friends, on the bus, on the playground, in class. Yeah, my daddy, my daddy's a cop, or my mama's a doctor, or So that's probably how he found out where he works. You said he can pay the parents compensation with his... Man, he... with his retirement check, his stocks and bonds. Shoot, he better have some money saved up, because and then again, I don't know if they'll have to get money from him or from the school. They said they're suing the school district, and they're suing the bus company and this man. So with the lawsuit, you're gonna try to get everybody that might have anything to do with the situation. They're gonna start like that. Start with a really high number, and you know how it usually goes. They're gonna work their way down and come to some type of agreement. One thing for sure, I'm sure they're not gonna hire that man back. He probably can't get no job driving for Jimmy John's, for Pizza Hut, for DoorDash, Grubhub, any of those other places. He probably can't get no job now from any of those places. You said, I wish the parents all the money. And then Roxanne said, oh, this is just they just using the racist card because the parents are probably poor and they probably need money to pay their bills. Now that really bothered me. That comment right there really bothered me. Like, your child got dragged by a school bus. And it wasn't like the child was the only one on the bus. So it wasn't like the driver was just, in La La Land, the child right there, no other kids to tell them, hey, sir, stop. Child being dragged. Book bag in the door. There was like, you saw all the kids standing right there. They were screaming and yelling for him to stop. And the kids were saying, we told him to stop. We told him the little boy was stuck in the door. And he kept going. And then he said later he didn't even know the kid. I don't know the kid. And then the other brother had been punished by the driver a little while before that. So they said, yeah, you know the kid. You know his brother. You know his mama. You know his father. You know where his daddy worked. But you don't know the kid. But you done rolled up the bus. I would have loved to have been there for that. I would have loved that. Y'all, he would have been on my YouTube channel by 10 o'clock before the evening news came on. I would have been up there recording. Like, y'all see this? Do y'all see this? This old man is at this dude's job sweating him. You dragged his son and you running up to his job in the school. Okay, first of all, the school bus is only meant to go back and forth to school. Back and forth to school. Now, sometimes along your route, if you know, y'all done seen school buses, they be stopping at McDonald's, Burger King, some place to get coffee, you know, something like that. Or they might be sitting in between, you know, runs, getting breakfast, getting some coffee, using the bathroom. I'm not going to even try to believe that the child's father job is along the school bus route. I just need to stop in so I can use the bathroom. You said, oh my God, let me read these comments. You said you wish the parents all the money. Rich or poor, the parents deserve that compensation. Yes, rich or poor. Like the person who said this man, people is always trying to throw the race card. They just trying to get some money because they poor. First of all, that's a stereotype. You trying to say they black and they poor? They poor because they black? They black, so they poor. If that wasn't a stereotypical comment, like, okay, there are a lot of black people who are in low income. There are a lot of white people. There are a lot of Asians. There are a lot of Mexicans. There are a lot of Africans. Shall I go on? To say, I mean, that's almost worse than the comment that the old man said, talking about how can I be racist? My dog is blacker than I don't know what. You said that daddy should have dragged that man off and beat him up and say he attacked me. Hunty, I'm telling you, and I don't know what happened. They didn't tell everything on the story. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to try to find out more information later, because this is one of them stories that I'm definitely going to keep my eye on and keep my ear to the street for this story, because I want to know what they are going to get compensated. But then again, you know, they might keep it private, especially since it has to do with the school board. They might keep it private, you know. The school board doesn't want that out in the open. Like, they're going to be like, oh, we settled in court. And they're going to smooth it over and make it seem like it's no big deal. We just settled it in court. Case closed. You said then the man can explain to the cops why he drove to the man's job. Yeah, like what do you say? Like what could he have said? I'm trying to imagine what he might have said, or what was his reason to go to the job. I mean, the father, his belief is just what I would have believed. I mean, I would have definitely believed that he was there to try to intimidate me. I would have definitely believed that. And I'm like, come on, intimidation. There are some repercussions for intimidation. You said they always want to keep it. Yeah, they always do. With school districts, because, you know, some school districts, they already get bad raps. Especially if the school district is in an urban area, you know, one of the schools, not you know, out in the suburbs, you know, all the rich, fancy schools, the private schools, you know, if they're like urban schools in that sector, sometimes they do have a bad rap, especially if it's because of kids not graduating, kids failing, you know, dropouts, you know, disruptions in class, things like that. They don't want that out in the open. And if they do get a big lawsuit, because I can imagine they're going to get a pretty nice settlement from this. A pretty nice settlement. The boy was dragged. I would be like so terrified. And I would never, I'm just trying to think as far as the little boy. Like, he's biracial. He's probably most likely white and black. Most likely. Maybe not. He could be black and something else. You know, black and Puerto Rican, Asian. I mean, it could be anything, but most likely he's probably black and white. So his mom or dad is probably white. After this incident, the only white person he'll probably ever trust again is probably one of his parents. And maybe, you know, their side of the family. That's terrifying. I would be freaking out. I would be like, I'm telling you, I want to attack him. I would want to attack him. And I know my son's father would be like, where he at? He did what? And then he said he don't even know my child. You don't even know my child. No, and I'm gonna have to believe that the man knew who the child was. They said he had just recently disciplined his brother. The child had broke up a fight, had stopped a white boy, from beating up a biracial girl on that same bus. But now you don't know who this kid is. This is like really devastating. Like really devastating. Because I can't imagine that's like almost a life and death situation, you know? It really is like a life and like, have you seen grown-ups being dragged by cars? You know, we see them on TV, on the news, you know, people getting into altercations, getting into arguments, whether it's a guy and his woman or two complete strangers arguing, and they get dragged, like, and you see them on top of the car or hanging on the window, and they're getting dragged down the interstate, or, you know, I'm just like picturing this, like my child being dragged, and even though the bus wasn't going like a super fast speed, still that's like terrifying. That's really terrifying. And your child probably never want to go back to school again. Like call me an Uber, ma. I'm not catching the bus, ma. Call me an Uber. Shoot. And he too young to drive. He's only 14. So it ain't like they can buy the child his own car. So, you know, he has to have a way to school. But, I'd be scared and I'd be terrified. I really would. I really would. You said that's exactly what it was. You said that's exactly what it was. Laugh for. Yep. It's really sad. It's really sad. I really hope that, and I know the man is old. But again, somebody was trying to use the age card. I'm not letting him pass with the age card. We need to see. I need to see some psychiatric evaluations to prove that this happened because of his age. Because his age, he wasn't too old to find his way to that child's father's job. I'm just saying. He can find his way to the child's job. So, I mean, to the child's parents' job. I know that man probably wanted to run out there and whoop him a new one. I'm like, that's for every. He be like, that's hit him for every inch that he dragged his son. Like every inch, every millimeter, just. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this because I need to know, like, Lord Jesus, fix it. Do Jesus, y'all. Okay, here's the cake. It's been in the freezer for a minute so the crumb coat could dry. You said how? I bet the dad. I bet he was. I know he was tripping. Shoot, Roxanne, because I would have been tripping. I would have told my coworkers, like, no, this mofo didn't come to my job. Are you kidding me? And see, where I work at, my coworkers would have been like, you want us to watch the phones? Ooh-wee. What you say, Roxanne? You said, hey, Kalui, where you been? You said, I bet the dad was tripping. Oh, you said, Lord Jesus, we some cake, Tanya, after this, yummy. Oh, you said we need some cake? Child, I'm up here trying to do the darn thing with this cake. After I put the crumb coat on it, y'all. For those who saw me earlier, I put the crumb coat on it. Again, the crumb coat is just a thin layer of frosting that you put on the cake to seal all the crumbs in the cake. And then after you do that, you put the cake in the freezer for about, I think I had it in there about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And it's not going to freeze. The cake is not going to freeze. It'll just make the outside of the cake a little hard. But once you leave the cake out for a little bit in room temperature, and I'm just throwing some frosting on here, I'll smooth it all out after I get it all covered in frosting. You said you make it look so easy and smooth. Oh, trust me, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a whole lot of practice. I've been doing this for some years, so trust me. My first cakes, Lord. That's all I'm gonna say. My first cakes were like, they were edible. They weren't decorated too well when I first started years ago, but they were edible. I didn't kill anybody. But as far as decoration wise, my decorations when I first started was, boy, they were very amateurish. But I kept it up and I kept practicing. And I told myself I was going to keep practicing till I got better and better and better. And so that's what I did. But I meet a lot of parents who they be like, oh, you're a cake decorator? And they tell me stories about them trying to decorate their child's cakes. Like, this one lady has stopped me one time because my plates say cake art. And a lot of people stop me and ask me, do you make cakes? And I say, yeah. And she was telling me the story how she had tried to make her daughter a tiered Mickey Mouse cake. And she said, after she made and she tried to cover it all in fondant. You said, were you able to put that big cake in your oven to cook? Uh-huh. It's not that big. It's a half sheet. It's not that big at all. It's a half sheet cake. It's not a full sheet. But she was trying to decorate her daughter a cake, and she tried to do a tier cake. And she was telling me, she said, man, I made the cake. I tried to cover it in fondant. The fondant had tore all up. She said, but I did the best I could. Her daughter liked it. She said, and then she said, I didn't know I had to put rods in the cake. She said, I didn't know I had to put rods in the cake on a tier cake. I said, what? I said, okay. Now, most people who try to make a cake on their own, they'll go to like YouTube or, to a website or something like that. And I was thinking, the website where you went to figure out how to do a tiered cake, they didn't tell you that you need to put rods in the cake? So when she tried to carry the cake, and that's another thing when you do a tiered cake, you should have it all, like the first tier, you should have that in one box. If you're transporting it, you should have the first tier in one box. You should have the second tier in a box. You should have the third tier in the box. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, no matter how tall the cake is, they all should be separate. And then when you get to wherever you're setting the cake up, then you put your rods down through the second tier to the first tier. Then you put the third tier on. Then you put your rods down to go all the way down to the bottom. Then so on and so on and so on and so on. So even if you shake the cake, it's not going to move. She tried to transport the cake, and she said it was only 2 tiers, and the second tier had failed. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was laughing, but it was funny because the way she was telling me the story, it was funny. I was like, oh. And I said, well, hopefully she liked it. You know, hopefully she really liked it. And she was like, yeah. She said, my daughter really loved it. You said they probably slipped. Yeah, I'm like, hold up. How that happen? I was like, how that happen? And she was like, well, my daughter really liked it. And then she said, do you have a card? I said, I sure do. But I hear stories like that all the time. But I always say, home cakes are the best cake because they from the heart. And every cake that my mother used to make for us, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing about my mama's cake. Because they were always delicious and they were always homemade. And her pies too. But, yep. But anyway, am I missing any comments? You said they probably skipped that part. Yeah. Yeah, Kalui. They definitely probably skipped that part. But yeah. But yep, I'm going to trying to clean most of this frosting off my spatula so I can get these sides real good. But this cake is gonna be delicious. It's a lemon cake. And I really, really wanted to because normally when I do lemon cake or homemade lemon cupcakes, I make lemon buttercream frosting to go on the cake, but I couldn't for this cake because they wanted colored frosting. And of course, lemon buttercream frosting is like with the curds and the lemon zest and all that stuff in there, it kind of has like the yellowish, the yellowish specks in the frosting. So I was like, okay, I'll just make regular buttercream frosting so I can color it, and then the lemon cake. But my lemon frosting is da bomb. Like, da bomb. And of course, I make all my frosting from scratch. So, yeah, it's really good. Really, really good. I'm just trying to make the cake as smooth as possible. And what I'm gonna do, I don't know if y'all can see. Let me see the camera. I got it on your comment, so I don't see the camera. But I don't know if y'all can see, but there's a little sections that's not actually smooth. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run my scraper under hot water, really hot water. And when you run it under hot water, you just dry it off, the excess water, and you run it across the cake, like that. Ba-dow. But yeah, when you run it under hot water, just make sure you dry it completely, because you don't want no water on the cake. Okay, so now the cake is pretty smooth on the top, and it's going to be stuff on the cake, so most of this is going to be covered anyway, because I'm going to have pictures of the graduate on the cake. My friend's mom sent me like 4 pictures from infant on up to graduating, her basketball pictures, her varsity pictures, and so I'm gonna have pictures on the cake, and then I'm gonna do a border. I'm about to work on the border now, so you guys are gonna see me do the border. Let me just smooth off the sides a little bit more, because this cake is going to be black and blue. Black and blue, black and blue, black and blue. So, just smooth the sides, get off some of the excess frosting. And I'm gonna do some star designs around the cake with my piping. All these edges are going to be decorated. So everything is going to be covered up with black border. So let me get my little piping thing. piping bag. Let me see, which side should I start on? Start on this side. I'm going to do this side first, and then I'm going to show you guys what I did after I'm done. You said this is interesting. I'm learning a lot. Most people don't explain as much. Oh, I don't mind. Like I always say, I have a cake decorating channel called Tanya's Delight Slice by Slice. And I have videos over there. And it's just like kind of over here. It's not like your average it's not actually a tutorial. I'm just like I am now. Over there on my cake decorating channel, I decorate cakes live, but I'm just sitting here talking like we are. It might be an open forum where people will talk or call in, or if they want, they can ask me anything about what I'm doing. But it's not actually a tutorial where I start from the very beginning, because you see how long it takes to decorate a cake. It takes a long time, and that's after the baking process. After you mix your batter, and then after you mix your batter, if there's colors involved, you have to, after the cake cooled down, you have to level the cake so it's even. And then after you level the cake, then if there's any colors involved, after you make your frosting, you have to color and make all your colors of your frosting. And if there's any fondant involved, you have to, I always recommend making your fondant ahead of time. Usually when I'm making fondant designs on a cake or cupcakes, like if it's a specialty, a really custom specialty designs, I'll make my fondant ahead of time. And then I'll put the fondant pieces in baggies, like freezer bags or, sandwich bags, so they don't dry out. And I do that like a day ahead or 2 days ahead of time. But yeah, it's a long process. So that's why I just do the cake, bake the cake, level the cake, everything that you have to do before the actual decorating. I do that all beforehand. Because otherwise, we'd be here for like 2 more hours. Like really, real talk. So I'm almost done with this side with my little stars. And then I'm going to flip it around so you guys can hopefully see it. And this is another reason why I have to hurry up and get my camera, because if I get my camera and put it on the tripod and everything, and then once I get my lights, my big lights and everything, then you can see everything a little bit more clear. So hopefully I'll be able to do that really soon. I'm like, that's the first thing I want to do as soon as I get monetized. I want to start working on getting those things. I've been looking at different videos that are doing like reviews on different cameras and whatnot. So I have been keeping my eye out and I didn't like save some people's reviews. So I'm like, okay, these look like some pretty nice cameras, so I saved them. So when I'm ready to buy, I can just go to those reviews and figure out the name of the camera and everything. Okay, I'm on my last row on this side. Then I can show you guys what I did. And I already have my black frosting made too. So once I'm done with this, then I can start the black frosting. Okay. So hopefully you can see this pretty well. I'm about to turn it around. I'm going to hold it up for you so you can see what I did. So those are piping stars. Those are piping stars. So that's what I'm doing around the cake. So that's why I said when you do your first little layer of crumb coat on a cake, you want to make sure it's not too much and shave off the excess frosting, because when you start your piping, you don't want the base coat of frosting to be too heavy, because you want your piping designs to hold firm to the side of the cake. But yeah, you say yes, you've been watching. Oh, thank you. Yeah, usually when my friends or family ask me to make them a cake, most of the time they don't even know. They know like what flavor they want. They might know the color and the theme, but other than that, I just kind of just go with the flow and make something that I think they would like. But yeah, so I think I have enough blue frosting to cover all the sides. And if I don't have enough frosting, I can make some more. I took out a lot of butter earlier for my frosting. I always take out more butter than I sometimes think I need, just in case I run out, because you know when you make your frosting from scratch, your butter has to be room temperature, not melted in the microwave either. Do not melt it in the microwave. So I usually take my butter out about 4 hours before I want to make my frosting. So when I went to work today, I left around 3:30 and I took the butter out. I think I took out 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah, I think I took out 4 packs of Imperial butter. It's 4 sticks to a pack. Just regular Imperial butter. That is like one of the best butters to make frosting with. And while I was at work, it got to room temperature. So when I got home, all I had to do is mix it up in my KitchenAid, and then make the different colors of frosting I need. See, this one bag basically is covering both of the long sides of the cake. And I still got some frosting left. But again, if I did run out, I just have to mix up some more. And making frosting doesn't take a long time. You said it's really cool how every cake is unique. Oh yeah, I try to be unique with every cake. And if y'all want it, y'all can go to my Facebook page called Tanya's Delights Slice by Slice. And you can look at all my pictures of the cakes that I've done over time. And you can see the different designs and different styles, that I've done. But yep, I'm almost done with this. I'm gonna put a little bit more frosting in here. Yep, I'm definitely gonna have enough. See, once you start making frosting for different types of cakes, different sizes of cakes, whether it's a sheet cake, whether it's a 3-layer round cake, whether it's tier cakes, you kind of get into where you know exactly almost how much frosting you need. I've been doing this for so long. Normally, like a 3-layer round, like 9-inch cake takes about 5 sticks of butter. And a sheet cake usually takes 8 to 12 sticks of butter. It just depends. And one thing, who was that who asked me, was this big enough for the stove? Was that Roxanne? I think that was Roxanne. But yeah, when you're making cakes at home with a home stove, the biggest you can make is like a half sheet. But the thing about it, like say they wanted a full sheet. Say they wanted a full sheet because they needed like so many servings. What you would do is you make 2 half sheets and you level them off really even. And then you frost the top of one. And then frost it really well, nice size, frosting in between. And then put the other layer on top. And frost that, and just like I'm doing now. And then when they get the cake, basically you tell them, since it's 2 layers, since it's double the cake, what you do to get the amount of a sheet cake, you just cut the slices smaller. But each person will be getting the same amount of cake as if you cut a regular size piece with a half sheet cake. So because of it being a double layer, you can cut the sizes thinner, but they'll still have the same amount of cake because it's double. It's 2 layers. And then they also get the frosting in between the cake. So that's how you go about that route. Okay, I think I'm done with 3 sides. Yep. I'm done with 3 sides now. So after I let's get the chair up. So here's another side. And then here's that side. Then I'm gonna do the last side. And after I do the last side, since the cake is gonna be blue and black, what I'm gonna do is I have another pipe that I'm going to use to put some open flowers on the outside of the border, the outside of the bottom border, and then I'm going to put some shells on the top of the cake border. So yeah, I'm doing basically everything I can on camera with the cake that I can do tonight, because again, like I said, everything else I have to do right before the cake gets delivered. I have a diploma, a cake diploma. I have to write on the cake and put the year and put the name. It looks just like a regular diploma, and you just use like a marker and you write on top of the diploma, their name, and it says like 20, and then you just fill in 19 or whatever. So I would fill in the 19, and then I have a cake topper that's made like a graduation hat. And I have a tassels and scroll and other things that I'm going to put on the cake. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. And as usual, I upload all pictures of my cakes on my Facebook page. And I'm also on IG as well. So I have Tanya's Delights. Well, actually on IG is Tanya Cake Lady, all one word. But on Facebook is Tanya's Delights, Slice by Slice. So I'm going to upload the finished product on there. And then I'm going to have I'll post a link to my Facebook page in the comments section, so that those who are watching and those who might come later and watch, or rewatch, can go to the link on Facebook and check out the finished product. But it's going to be really cool. I can't wait till it's done. Some little stars, little baby stars. But yeah, this is fun. And again, I told you guys before, I give out a lot of free cakes every month. Church. You said you want to see the finished product. Oh yeah, I'm going to show it. How do you get the cake? Oh, hold on. Let me see. Let me read your comments. I got my cell phone here because the screen is kind of far away. You said, how do you get the cake to come out flat after baking? Oh, that's what I was saying. Hold on. Let me grab something so I can show you. I just gotta wash my hands. I'm gonna show you my big daddy. My big daddy. Okay, what I'm about to do for you, because I have another cake that I'm taking to the nursing home tomorrow, so I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. So let me move this cake out the way. Hold on. Move this one out the way. that I made that I'm taking to the nursing home tomorrow. Let me close some of these screens that popped up. This knife right here, it's a cake, bread. It can be used for cakes or bread. It's from Fat Daddy-O's. Fat Daddy-O's. I don't know if you can see the name. Fat Daddy-O's. It's a big knife. And it's big enough for a sheet cake. I have a regular like cake bread. I have a regular like bread knife, which is like half. Let's see. About half this size. It's like from here to here. Probably half this size that I use for just regular round cakes. Just regular round cakes because it's big enough to go through. But this is what you need for sheet cakes. As you can see, it's almost the length of the cake. And if you go this way, it's longer than the width of the cake. So all you do to level it off is, it's a long knife and it's very sharp. When I say very sharp, it's very sharp. Even when you washing it, I would like triple up your dish rag and clean it. It's very sharp. I have cut myself in the past. I'm just going to put that out there. And I've been doing this for years. This is one knife that I don't allow my children to use, touch, clean, nothing. When they see this, they walk the other way. But you would just take it from one end. And this is any cake, whether it's a round cake, sheet cake, a square cake, oval cake, whatever. You just take it, you hold the top of the cake, and you just take it, and you just go across the cake, just like that. And just trim off the top. That's what you do. And then with that cake, sometimes if the kids want it, I let them have it. If not, I throw it away. But you can also use this to make cake pops as well. Because you know you made cake pops from cake. So some people will take their excess cake and they would ball it up into circles for cake pops and freeze it. So then you just take the excess cake off. And then it's still a little higher on this end, so you just go across. Just be careful when you're doing it, because again, it's really sharp. So watch your hands. A little on this side. Yep, and then I'll take the knife. I usually run the knife to the side to get some of the excess. And I take the rest of the cake that I don't need off and discard it. But that's what you do. And that's the absolute best way if you plan on piping, like those designs like you saw, you know, that you see people do, like you saw me do. If you're doing any kind of piping work where you're putting designs, the cake absolutely needs to be level. If it's not level, your designs, if it's round, your designs can slide off. It just, you know, it don't look right. It just don't look right. I got a little blue frosting on there. But yep, so then what you do, that's step one. So hold on, let me grab something. That's step one. Step two is you get you another board. Make sure it's on the white side, the side that you want your cake to show. The brown side should always be at the bottom. So since this side of the cake we shaved, we want that to be at the bottom. Because otherwise it would take you too much frosting and too much time to make that side of the cake super smooth. So you just put that on the top, you grab both sides like this, and you just flip it upside down. Voila! There you go. And then you just decorate the cake. So that's what you do. And I'm going to grab my other pipe right here. Grab my black frosting, replace the blue frosting. Fill this bag up. And also, if you ever tried to make black frosting and it didn't turn out right, you have to make your frosting brown first. So always make your frosting brown first. And then after it's brown, then you start adding your black color. And black and red is like the two main colors that needs to sit a while. The longer it sit, the more darker and the more darker they turn out. You said my cake be looking like a mountain of a mess. Trust me, I get it. I get it. I get it. Don't feel bad, because a lot of people don't know. So do not feel bad at all. But yep, now I'm making some little flowerets to go around the border in black. And I'm going to show you in 1 second what I'm doing. And the first piping tip that I used was a size 21 to make the little stars. And the second piping tip that I'm using now is a 2, I think it's 2B, 2D. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see what I did. So they're like kind of like little flower petals. And if you want, like, well, I can't do it with this cake because just the design color that I already had in mind. But sometimes I put several different colors in the piping bag when I'm making my flowers, depending on the theme. And then your petals, they come out all different colors. It's so beautiful. And I have some examples on my Tanya's Delight Slice by Slice Facebook page. I have so many different designs, different colors, all kind of stuff. You can. You say, trust me when I say you're artistic. It's so beautiful. You can do it too. I promise you can. I promise you can. When I started decorating cakes, like I tell everybody, it was mainly because my mom used to do all this for the family, friends, You know, stuff like birthdays, graduations, holidays, stuff like that. So after she passed, I don't like store cakes, and my kids don't either. And after she passed, I had started buying store cakes, and nobody really liked them. Nobody really didn't eat them, and we would throw like almost an entire cake away every time we would order one. And I was like, you know what? I told my son, the youngest one, this was a few years back. I said, next time y'all have a birthday that comes around, I'm making the cake. And they looked at me like, because mind you, I never made a cake before. Not even a box cake. I never made a cake before, ever in my life. I made brownies. I made pies before. Things like that. But I never made a cake before. Even from the box. And my sons used to ask me all the time, Mom, why you never make cakes from the box? No. We'll just buy a cake. Yeah, nothing. You hold your hand so steadily. Oh. Again, practice. So here's one side. And then I'm going to switch tips. I'm going to switch piping tips again because I want to make some shells, and I'm going to make some open shells. So I'm going to use 845. I'm going to use 845. Put some more black in the bag. Okay. Now I'm going to pipe some shells. Okay, that's one side. Turn it around. Other side. It's a lot quicker when you're piping with bigger tips. Of course, because the designs are bigger. See, I'm almost done with the top. It's a lot quicker. The bigger the tip is, the quicker the process. It's got a little blue ink on it. Don't want no blue ink. Did I say ink? I meant color. some of the blue color from the cake I got on the tip because I had grazed the cake. So you try not to graze the cake. Just kind of stay up top of the cake when you're doing different colors, so you don't get the opposite color on your tip. And there's the top. So let me show you. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to you said, oh, that's one lucky girl you making that cake for. The residents nursing home are lucky too. Yes, they are. Matter of fact, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, this lady, my friend who I'm making the cakes for, I done made so many cakes for them for her daughters. She has just girls, so for her daughters, I made a lot of cakes for her, and so she always comes to me. And you know, when I have time to do orders, you know, I do them because I do have a main job and I have YouTube. So this is kind of like just hobby work for me. It's just something I love to do. I really love to do. Like I said, I give away so many free cakes for funerals, church fundraisers, nursing homes. Matter of fact, today I was requested to host a class at a nursing home, and it's not really a class, you know, because it's elderly, you know, residents. You know, some of them are, you know, wheelchair bound or use walkers. You know, it's a nurse home, so it's kind of like just for one of the activities that they do, just something different, because they're trying to just think of different and unique things to do with the residents. And so the lady in charge of activities asked me today, when I went to work, she was like, how would you like to, you know, on your day off, you know, whenever you have time, come in, you know, for a couple hours and just decorate a cake in front of, you know, the residents. And I was like, sure. I don't care. I don't care. And I always take, you know, cupcakes or cakes or chocolate covered strawberries, chocolate covered pretzels, Rice Krispie treats, all kind of stuff to the nursing home all the time, especially on holidays. So the next holiday that comes up is Memorial Day. So I'll probably make some cupcakes since I'm making them a cake for tomorrow. And tomorrow's cake is just a whatever cake. I'm just taking it. They eat dinner around like 4:30. So, and I'll get there around 4. So basically, you know, after dinner is over, if they want some cake, they can have some cake. But, yeah, I think they would love it. And it was interesting because I was like, I ain't never been asked nothing like that before. And I was like, sure, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. That would be awesome. Awesome with me. So that's cool. So yeah, so this cake right here, again, I'll put the finished picture on my Tanya's Delight Slice by Slice Facebook page and on my IG, which is Tanya Cake Lady, all one word. But this is just the basic part. Like I said, I have other things that I'm going to put on the cake. I have a cap that sits about this high, and it looks just like a cap, you know. And then it has a tassel, and then I have another tassel that I'm going to display like right in the corner, and then I have a diploma. You know, all this stuff is cake friendly, desserts friendly. So I'm going to have a diploma like down at the bottom right there. Then I'm going to have pictures from different age range of the girl, you know, from a toddler on up to graduation. So it's going to be pretty cute. I can't wait. I get more excited about these cakes than people do. I'll make a cake, and especially if it's really cute, really nice, I'll be like, I don't even want to give it away because you guys are going to cut it and then it's going to be. And then I get people who say, we don't want to cut it. We just want to keep it just like that. It's too beautiful to cut. But I'm like, you better eat that cake, Anime. You better eat that cake as long as it takes me to make it. You better eat that cake, Anime. Hey, the real Kima. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I was actually just about to wrap up this video. We've been on here for 2 hours. I did a little commentary on a subject that we were discussing about the little boy who had got dragged by a bus. Matter of fact, before I go, for those of y'all who came in late, who didn't get to see the video, I'm going to play the video for y'all before I wrap up. That's what I'm going to do for you guys. But yeah, I did about an hour of commentary and then started working on this cake that I'm doing for my friend's daughter who's graduating. So let me pull up this video for those of y'all who missed it. Just 1 second. Okay, here we go.
A school district in Utah now the subject of a lawsuit because of this. A former bus driver caught on camera dragging a student moments after he stepped off the bus. You see the students lining up and walking down the steps. They say the boy's backpack got caught in the door and the driver didn't stop for several seconds. The boy's mother believes he was targeted because of his race, but the driver denies that allegation.
Would you say that you're racist?
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
Look at my dog. He's as black as can be.
Oh boy. The lawsuit claims the driver has a history of misconduct against children who are minorities dating back several years. The driver says this specific incident was staged after he disciplined the boy's brother.
Again, I will never get over the comment that man said about his dog. I will never get over that comment. He's about as black as he can be. Why would I be a racist? I have a black Labrador Retriever. Why would I be racist? I will never get over that comment. But anyway, y'all, I just wanted to show the video for y'all who just came in later. You can rewind the whole live so you can see my commentary on that particular subject, which happened like a week ago. And then, watch me from the beginning decorate this cake. And again, it's only partially decorated. And it's going to be so beautiful when I finish. It's going to be so beautiful. Just give y'all last little glance before I finish the entire cake. But you said I'm telling you, when I first saw the video, I died because I'm like, no, he didn't. Not only did he say it, but he said it like so nonchalant, like my dog is about as black as he can be. Why would I be a racist? No way. I was like, he said it on TV. Like, he said it on TV. Like, you made that comment on TV. Comparing your dog's coat of color to this child. I can't. I can't. But thank you. No problem. No problem. Anytime I do cake design, cake decorating, while I'm doing commentary, as always, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, anything I'm doing, I always give my best answer because I know a lot of people out there like to make cakes from home, even if it's like hobby for like me. And the more you practice, the better you get. Practice, practice, practice. Me, I started off doing it for the kids. They didn't look great at first when I started. Then I started doing them for holidays. Then I started taking them to work, and I would have my coworkers eat them. And oh my God, I would take stuff everywhere, to the nail salon. When I'm going to get my nails done, I would take like 20 pack of 24 cupcakes, homemade cupcakes, or cake, to the nail salon. The gas station down the street that I frequent, they know me very well as the cake lady, because I take cakes and cupcakes to the gas station, everywhere, church, it don't matter. I just love doing it. I just love doing it. So hopefully one day I can maybe have my own little spot and actually do it business wise. Maybe. Until then, I just love what I do. Thank you, Roxanne. But yep, so I'm gonna wrap this up, you guys. We've been on here like 2 hours. It's almost 1 in the morning. I'm gonna put this cake in a box and let it chill till tomorrow morning, and then I'll do my other fancy work to it and post it on my Tanya's PrimeTime. I'm sorry, did I say Tanya's PrimeTime? I meant my Tanya's Delights Slice by Slice Facebook page. But in the meantime and in between time, folks, as usual, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting my channel. We are now down right under 900, almost exactly, hours to go to 4K. And my review, well, my year is up. My first year anniversary on YouTube is June 6th. I think we have like 20 days left, something like that. Like 20 days left till June 6th, and we are around 900 hours to get to 4K, which you have to have in order to be reviewed to get monetized. So thumbs up, big thanks you, big kisses and everything to those of you who have been running my playlist. And I can tell just by the watch hours every day that people are running my playlist. I have family doing it. I have friends doing it. I have you guys doing it. You know, my Prime Squad. Thank you. And please continue supporting me. And I will continue supporting you as well. Because I do be watching y'all. Okay, I do be watching y'all. Those of you who make content, let me put it that way. Those of you who make content, when you pop up on my news feed, I do be watching y'all videos. So, yeah. Matter of fact, who was I watching earlier? Oh God. Naturally Nolans. Yep, that's who I was watching earlier. I was watching her video. She had I think it was a cousin who was graduating. And they had a party, and they had a band, and it was like that New Orleans style and everything. Oh my God. I was like, that is lit. That's a party. But anyway, congratulations to you, Miss Naturally New Orleans. But anyway, in the meantime and in between time, you guys, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Thank you, Roxanne. Crunch time, Kalui. Crunch time. Hey, we about to get it in. Good night, everybody.